Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome to a best of 9 series of top level StarCraft 2. What I've got for you today is a Protoss versus Terran, where in game number 1 we find ourselves on Abyssal Reef, and of course it's game number 1, it's a best of 9 series. You may as well start the chattering. Spotting right here though in the top left hand corner, we have ByuN's opponent, and he goes by the name of Hero, and believe it or not in red, he is ByuN. This particular series was played a bunch of weeks ago. I think actually about 3 to 4 weeks or so ago at this point in time. I've had these replays burning a hole in my my email inbox. Can things burn holes in there? I'm not exactly sure. Either way, I heard that these games are amazing. So we're gonna find out together exactly what ended up going down, but I hope you got yourself a drink. I've got myself about a 2-liter water bottle. Because this is likely to become a very, very long series. I heard the games are amazing, so we'll have to find out together exactly what ended up going down. Now, this is a best of 9, meaning that we're gonna see every single map if, you know, we go to map number 9. The only player, or the only thing that the players get to decide, rather, is the order in which the maps are going to be played. This is, by the way, the tournament organizer, Enki. He's the one that sent me the replays, so big shout out to him. He's been hosting a bunch of show matches. So this is actually the first iteration of a show match series that he is hosting. That one happens to be ByuN versus Hero, but he already sent me the replays as well for the second one, which is also a best of 9. We have a lot of best of 9s. So big thank you right there to Enki for sending this over. So we can go ahead and have a look. Also Enki with the capital XD. I have been told by my nieces and nephews that only old people use XD. So if you're old like me, because I use it, there you go. That's what Zoomers, or I guess actually Gen Alpha, thinks of your XD. Yeah, that immediately ages a man about 15, 20 years or so. It is how it is. It is something I will continue to use together with carrot, another, another boomer emoji. Anyway, no, the real boomer emojis are those. This is something my dad could text me. Putting noses in emojis. Remember the good old days? Alright, now we've got Hero looking around the left side of the map. I guess he's been hurt one too many times by ByuN. And you know what? ByuN is known to be a bit of a prankster. None of that though is the case. Maybe Hero now is thinking about putting something out on the map himself. For now we're gonna go though into the good old Twilight Council, and this should just be Blink. 9 times out of 10 it is going to be Blink in this particular matchup. ByuN did open up with double Reaper, not really sending anything across. We're gonna go for some Hellion Reaper shenanigans here early on. He is, of course, building that command center on the low ground right now, too. And we've got a starport building inside of the main base. So we'll probably see some benchy aggression here on the back of this. Maybe a Raven. We'll have to keep an eye out on exactly what ByuN decides to do. Probe has now finally come in, though. It took the longest route to get back across. And it's gonna, well, force a bunch of these Terran units to come back home. They're all waiting, but he doesn't want to show that there is a Hellion and a second Reaper. So, yeah, one Reaper is going to be tasked with killing it. Adept might get intercepted. Now, obviously, Hero knows, but the Shade is on cooldown. Second Adept is going to show as well. And we are going to have a bit of a skirmish here right at the very beginning. Good micro so far by ByuN, but the Shade is going to complete. Okay. It is one Reaper and a Hellion for a single Adept. Not the end of the world, but this Adept is the one with the 2 confirmed kills, and now a Stalker shows up too. Double Marine production has begun. Siege tank up on the high ground though. Oh no, we actually don't even need it. We're just gonna send it down to the low ground instead. Sieged or unsieged, it's still gonna hit like a truck. So that should shut down Hero for the time being. Now, it is indeed going to be that Blink. We are gonna go into a bunch of additional gateways. Hero apparently quite content with the way that this early game went. He's decided that he wants to go into a 4-gate push. So good old 4-gate once more, with even a robo facility on the back of it. So we're gonna go into full-on aggression. It's important that ByuN figures this out. ByuN, though, has decided with those units going back home that he is the one now loading everything inside of his medevac. Okay, Siege tank. Yeah, he wants to unload the Marines on the other side. Difficult, though, to make that call. Hero's gonna try and see what exactly is happening on the other side of the map. He did fire up a 3rd Nexus on the back of this too, but with 4 gateways, you can certainly put in a lot of work. But this, first off, needs to be addressed. It's important for ByuN that he doesn't overextend. The probes can just mine another mineral field over there if they really want to, but this is quite a frustrating spot though for Hero. to have to deal with. And you know what? Maybe ByuN needs to be careful that he doesn't overextend, but he can also just make that other side of the map his new main base. Blink, though, is done, and that siege tank is already in a world of trouble. Nice save there by ByuN. Blinks after the medevac. Does not quite get it yet. A bit clumsy. Not the perfect target firing. Ultimately, all the important Terran units die, but Hero lost an awful lot of Stalkers there to pay that price. Okay. Keep dancing. All right. He should be okay. Units trying to swoop around there on the high ground. Ultimately, yeah, an eye for an eye. Both players losing very similar amount of resources. Main problem here, of course, though, for ByuN is that he doesn't yet have... So we have another Stalker apparently going to the surface. The siege tank sieging up in the tall grass. ByuN doesn't have a third command center. He's going into Stimpaks right now, which is nice and all, but Stimpak is really going to be his main... Yeah, that's mostly his main line of attack, right? Like, he can continuously harass over here, but he can't really go for a big push until Stimpak is finished. And that's still a while away. Hero doesn't have a ton of economy. He did lose a bunch of probes, but he's got that third nexus done. And if he finishes charge, by the time that ByuN goes across the map with Stimpak, I mean, it should be absolutely holdable. Let's see, though. Stalkers are probably aiming for a recall. Yep. Just to be a nuisance. Just to keep this all honest. We did have a bit of aggression over here, too, with that Viking from earlier. This Viking actually has got 4 confirmed kills. Oh, that's gonna live. Maybe it gets tickled to death? No. Not quite. Okay. So, Stimpak is coming, but this takes so incredibly long. And Hero has an observer up above all of this. He can see exactly what's happening, and now knows that this is very likely going to be a committed push by ByuN. Obviously, both players know that this is a best of 9, meaning that, well, they know that this is likely going to be quite a long sit for them as well. Playing big macro games every time is an option. Probably not the one you should aim for, and this is actually really nice. Getting the Prism, getting the Zealots. That's one of the ways to start this engagement, and, well, it certainly is going to make all of this a little bit more difficult for Hero. Hero really needs to start warping in defenses. He doesn't have much yet. Stalker has been tasked with seeing where these units are going to be engaging from, and he has now found where these Terran units are going to be angling in from. And obviously, even though ByuN got cleaned up in this position earlier, he can still settle in that spot a second time around, this time with way more units. He does go into a third command center. Hero has seen this. It's extremely late, but it can deal a bunch of damage. Ooh, this is awkward, though. Hero, engaging for just a second, decides to run away. ByuN also clearly not expecting it. 4 Stalkers going across the map. Killing that SCV, slowing down the base is huge, but here we go again. ByuN is setting up shop behind that section. Widow Mines. Okay, forced to charge and forced to just, in general, slow all of this down. Command Center, though, is in a world of trouble. Medevacs have loaded up their units, and they're going to try and deal some damage. An hallucinated Colossus is going to try and see if they can make ByuN panic for just a moment. And it does indeed work out as the siege tanks are left by themselves. Third Command Center, in the meantime, has gone down. Natural expansion, though, for Hero may be next. I don't think so. No, I think that Nexus is going to stay alive. Yep. Excellent decision-making here by Hero. Third Command Center, rebuilding inside of the main base. Hero did lose a little bit of eco once again, and he never really made that many workers. Yeah, losing 12 of them in total is not ideal. Although it's hardly the worst thing so far in this particular series. Could have been way more. ByuN is oversaturating his bases, and we're now arriving in that weird spot where we're nearly 10 minutes into the game, which means that the main is going to start running low. The natural wasn't particularly quick. The nice advantage, obviously, of those mules is that you mine out the minerals really fast, and even though the natural wasn't fast, the mineral lines are going to disappear over the next couple minutes. ByuN needs to deal more damage. He may have the worker count. What's up, dude? He may have the worker... That's not Shark Bro, by the way. This is little brother. He may have the worker count, but he doesn't really have the units. He needs to move fast. Like, he can't really stay in this for too much longer. Well, let's see, though. His army is sizable, but not a lot of siege tanks. Not a lot, aka 0. We don't have any splash damage here in Hero's army, but he knows that this is certainly a Terran player on a timer. Good Blinky once more. Third command center now gets spotted a second time around. Medevac drop inside of the main base. ByuN's army, though, is still looking very significant. And even though Hero's economy has been a little bit better across the board, I just don't know if he's got the numbers. Yeah, right now his worker count is also lower than that of the Terran. ByuN can easily transfer the majority of his workers on over. With the third command center taken, he can go into a Ghost Academy too, which is going to be amazing against Zealots. Yo, there he is. Thank you for obstructing everything. That is Shark Bro, okay? Oh, he's trying to bait the Widowmine fire with the Prism. A full desperation play right there by Hero, trying to force those Widowmines to deal friendly fire to that Terran army. Ooh, nice force fields. Hero desperately trying to just not die here. Ugh. Yeah, this is one of those reasons why we've been seeing a lot of very quick High Templar with Storm. Templar Archives into Storm is a dangerous transition to make, but it makes these sort of extended 2-base pushes way easier to manage. Colossi, obviously another option here, although with Vikings up in the air, those are generally something you can deal with. I feel like Storm is always one of the very scary things. ByuN also did go for the +2, as well as the second +2, a little bit behind. He also got a supply block, but lucky for him, he plays Terran, so he can drop supply depots out of the high heavens. Don't know why Terran gets that, and the other races don't, but hey, this is not the time to complain. This is something I've been salty about since 2010! Medevac drop, goes back into main base. Just to be a little bit of a nuisance. Overextension. Yes, he does snipe the Medevac that was full of units. +3 comes up. Robo Bay comes up too. And you know what? Hero here is still alive. That's the most important thing for him. This is not the most comfortable game of his life. And there were moments where he was winning. But this is still a situation where you can theoretically come back. It's just that ByuN, he is not going to let his foot off the gas. ByuN is just going to continuously be aggressive. And now he's got the Ghosts in the mix too. Big EMP leading ahead of this party. I don't think this is going to be something that Hero can easily recover from. ByuN is playing this map very nicely. I love how he's abusing this entire setup to the best of his abilities, right? And he's trying to get so much value out of all of this. More EMPs would be really nice, and that's exactly what happens. Immortals run low on shields. The rest of the Protoss army over here also is in a world of trouble. And ByuN, late third command center or not, killed third command center or not, he had the workers, he transferred them when he had the mineral fields available to him. And that means he can indeed eventually obtain the victory in game number 1. Alrighty. Next up, we find ourselves on Frostline. Lovely game 1. Yep, if that is what this entire series is going to look like, I'm here for it. I haven't actually seen too many of ByuN's games as of late. ByuN, in general, plays a ton of online tournaments, but I feel like he's not been signing up for as many lately. Although maybe I just haven't seen. There's been quite a few online cups, actually, going on right now. About half of the games in every online cup are Protoss versus Protoss. Sometimes I consider casting a Protoss versus Protoss, because I like watching the matchup, and I do occasionally cast PvP, but it just seems to me that the vast majority of times that I do, everybody's like, okay, Lowko, mirror matchups are fun and all, but can we please not have mirror matchups? I'm like, all right, guys. All right. It is what it is. Anyway. Yeah, it is interesting. Widowmines deal friendly fire. Siege tanks deal friendly fire. Banelings, however, do not do friendly fire. Ghosts also don't do friendly fire. Do they? Do EMPs do that? No, I don't think they do. I mean, it's a really weird scenario. You would never really be accidentally EMPing your own Medevacs. Anti-armor missile for the Terrans, for the Raven, does deal friendly nuke, tactical nuke definitely deals friendly fire. Fungal growth does not. Ultralisks, with their splash damage, does not. Yeah, there's a little bit of inconsistency there. Anyways, we have another dance. This time around, we have an extra Reaper, as well as an extra Hellion here in the early game. Problem here, though, for ByuN is that this time, we don't have ourselves a Blinky Boy opener. We'll probably still get Blink eventually, but instead it's starting off with an Oracle. Twilight Council coming up. Yeah, I've never quite understood the consistency in friendly fire for StarCraft 2. Because some units do and some units don't. Now, obviously, balance-wise, if Banelings would do friendly fire to Zerglings, that would have very significant implications. You could make an argument that maybe, like, lore-wise, it makes sense that Banelings and Zerglings are, like, acid-resistant or something along those lines, right? But there is not a ton of consistency. Like, why do Hellions not do friendly fire? And Widowmines do, right? Like, what? It doesn't really make a whole... Anyways, here we go. Oracle swooping in. Marines, yeah, are in a world of trouble. Ultimately, though, a Cyclone was produced, and so was a Viking, which is going to allow ByuN to push all of this away relatively easily. Oracle decides to swoop back in. He knows his days are numbered. He knows that it's not going to be much longer before he will also face death. You know what? Oh, never mind. See you later, suck. Okay. Whew. I mean, that was... Before you give him the middle finger, Oracle, at least make sure you're safe. There was no doubt in its mind, but I was not 100% sure. Obviously, it's the same for Protoss too, right? Colossi don't do friendly fire. Disruptors do. Sonic Storm, in the campaign, it heals your units. In multiplayer, it damages your units. Believe it or not. You do get friendly fire out of that. Yeah, the real reason why it's inconsistent is just because of balance. Now that I think about it, though, if we ever get other RTS games that are even remotely as good as StarCraft 2, maybe we should have full consistency as far as that goes. Maybe all abilities should just also do friendly fire, or not. But maybe just pick one of the options and stick with it. I don't hate it. I don't mind that idea. We found a random landed Viking in the bottom of the map, going after one of the pylons that was building here. Viking is gonna land more. Yeah, we can maybe get some more damage in over here. I think it was possible. He didn't really know, though, where the Stalkers were. Decided not to take any chances. Once more, we have the units inside of the main. Blink has finished up. Hero, obviously, a big fan of the Blink. Blink twice and he's gone. Lowko, you're so funny. Thanks, guys. Hit the like button. Thank you. Thank you. Robo Bay on the back of this, together with the good old charge. +1 as well coming up for Protoss. So we are setting ourselves up for a nice little macro game. Terran not going for the holy trinity of Terran upgrades. We have 4 of them. Stimpak, combat shields, and +1/+1. Generally speaking, this one gets skipped. This is the little brother upgrade. This is the Luigi of the Terran upgrades. It is the unplugged controller upgrade. It is the mom said I could also play upgrade. It's nice. Not as important, though. Then again, ByuN generally gets it as his very first. Here I was thinking about just being full aggression here, and I don't entirely disagree. ByuN does have a ton of his upgrades finishing up, but this is always a difficult position for Terrans to really cover, right? Going from the natural to the third base is a lot of space that you suddenly have to worry about. Either Protoss swoops into the natural, or they swoop into the third. Hero's army is a lot more mobile, especially now with charge finishing up. He's going into +1. Ranged coming up for Colossi, although this is a fight that's taking place without Colossi just yet. And Hero is thinking about just collapsing on top of this. Yeah, we have charge done right now. Aggressive blink forward as well while the siege tank is distracted. Bunch of the zealots go around the site. They awkwardly derp behind the gas geyser. Bio units trying to catch up here with all of those stalkers and zealots. Sentry's also in a bit of trouble, but in the meantime, SCVs are dying. Not a bad situation here for Hero at all, who warped in even more units, and he just wants to see if he can end this right here, right now. And this is consistently, on Frostline, always a difficult thing for Terran. Getting that third base up and running, either you have to split up your units, or you get kind of sandwiched like this, or your natural gets overrun, or your third gets overrun. There's no easy way to do it. And Hero, once more, takes a really good fight. El Dorado is going to be our third game in this best of 9. The score has been evened up. Some people would now consider this to be a best of 7. Those people don't understand StarCraft, okay? I'm just gonna come out and say it. Just because the score is 1-1 does not mean it's now a best of 7. No. It's all about history. It's all about knowing what the opponent is currently going for and what you might be able to expect. It's very clear, for example, that ByuN is loving Hellions and Reapers. Generally, this is something you do, well, against another Terran player, right? Like, it's very common in TVT. You can also, I guess, play a lot of Hellions against Zerg. In many instances, you're, well, quote-unquote, supposed to. You kind of need to go for Hellion play, especially with triple CC. Against Protoss, though, you can certainly skip him. But ByuN's been bringing them out every single game so far. I don't disagree. This is that different variant, though. Very similar to the situation that we had in game number 1. Obviously, the problem is for this sort of setup now is that, yeah, Hero can just set up shop over here on the high ground. And there's really no easy way. Yeah, the Reapers can kind of go around the side, I guess. But there's no easy way for the Hellion to join in. Unless maybe the Reaper can distract all of these units and then the Hellion goes in. ByuN is very slippery. Very difficult to catch. And you know what? He actually gets good bits of damage done here. 3 probes is not bad at all. Hellion, in the meantime, also tried to go in. That one's going to have to drive its way back home. His friends are dead. But at the very least, he can say that he was part of the whole situation. And that's got to be worth something as well. Twilight Council again. It's time to begin the dance. Widowmine, run away! Okay. Well, the Widowmine instead is going to run away. Excellent start here for ByuN now. ByuN also using that high ground to his advantage. And this is obviously one of the big strengths of Terran in the early game, right? Like, you can make a bit of everything. Anything from the lowly Marine all the way up to the Battlecruiser. You can get out by, like, minute 5. We don't see a lot of Battlecruiser play, sadly, but there are a few of these observers, and yeah, I don't really like this medevac pathing here by ByuN. He actually just flew it straight past the observer, but also past the watchtower itself, so Hero can certainly be aware that this army is coming in. He's already got an observer set up in the main base too. I think you just go home, dude. Fly, you fool! Well, that sucks. It's a little sloppy. When you know that you've been spotted, he knew that there was a probe on the watchtower. And if he really noticed, like if he really paid attention, he could have seen the observer blur too. It's a bit silly to me to cross your fingers and play the strategy of, I hope my opponent didn't see. Right? Like, we're doing it again. This is something ByuN consistently does. He's been spotted again. Yeah. This is something ByuN consistently does where he's like, well, what if he just didn't pay attention to the minimap? What if he just didn't see? I think that's a, it's not, like, it works in a chaotic game, right? Like, when it's like 25 minutes in, you know it's difficult to look at every single position on the minimap. But 5 minutes into a game of StarCraft? Every pro gamer under the sun has their eyes pinned to the minimap. Constantly. It's actually kind of a weird, muscle memory to build in. As time goes by, as a StarCraft player, you get better at looking at the minimap. Like, the more comfortable you are executing your strategies, the less you actually have to look at, for example, the top right-hand corner, which is where the minerals are, but also just everything else. Like, the more comfortable you are, the more time you can actually dedicate to looking to the minimap. Which sounds really silly, but you kind of always want one of your eyeballs pointed to the minimap at all times. Like, if a chameleon could be taught to play StarCraft, or if a human could individually move their eyeballs around, or if you could set up some sort of elaborate, like, I don't know, mirror situation where you would always have just any sort of glimpse. That would be a big advantage for a StarCraft player. Maybe we need, like, a heads-up display. You know what? Remember the Google Glasses back in the day? We need a heads-up display. You know how, like, a lot of cars have it for, like, your current speed and all that? We need one of those for the minimap. That would be sick. It would also be utterly broken. But the hope and cross your fingers that your opponent didn't see is a bit sloppy. Now, these are stormy boys! Oh, okay, 7? 7's pretty good. Hero not going for the greedy move. Not sending it straight through the bottom of the map. He took the long way, and he gets rewarded. Okay. This Liberator gets to enjoy its retirement near the waterfall. Archon drop now, following this up. Not really achieving that much. This seems like a nice place. Not bad. Obviously, though, this map is not that easy to attack on, right? When you have 2 bases like what ByuN has right now, how in the world is he ever going to get overwhelmed? I think 7 SCVs is about the best you're ever going to get. Now, though, that the 3rd base is being acquired on the low ground, ByuN does have to open up his bases a little bit. He's once more sending Medivacs across, and once more, he gets spotted immediately. Hero doesn't care. He wants to move up towards this high ground. He knows that the Medivacs have just left, so he's thinking, oh my god, really? We're gonna warp it right over there? Oh no, what? Hold up, did he just I need to go back. Did he just cancel his own warp in there? What happened? Did he unsiege the prism too soon? Oh no. This is a crazy move in the first place. So he warps in a bunch of zealots, and I think he accidentally stops warping in. Ah, pain. Oh, jeez. He wanted to... Oh, God. Oh, look away. This was supposed to be the killer blow. Or killing blow, rather. Well, he still gets a good bit of value. Imagine 4 additional zealots here. We just straight up win. In the meantime, though, on the other side of the map... Oh, this game has actually just been flipped upside down. This little push that was spotted from a mile away, Hero looked at it and he's like, you know what, I don't care because I'm just going to be able to go and win the game now. So I'm not going to really pay too much attention to your silly little drop. By the way, we have the Warp Prism sieging up here to power a bunch of gateways because the pylons got picked off here. First and foremost by ByuN, which is cute. Now suddenly, though, both players have taken a tremendous amount of damage. ByuN sitting at 1 million gas. Hero's resource split is a little bit better. One thing, though, that is nice for ByuN is that he's got that 3rd command center that is currently completely unscouted. Okay. ByuN's such a maniac sometimes. I picture him frothing at the mouth while he's playing this, you know. He's like, I'm just gonna drop him again. I'm just gonna go again. I know these drops have been questionable to say the least, but I'm gonna just freaking do it again. I'll just keep doing it. No one's gonna stop me. And you know what? He may be onto something here. He got a little lucky that those zealots did not finish warping in because the prism decided to unsiege too early. Do we have energy for a storm? We sure do. Okay, he wasn't quite paying attention to it because the medevac dropped in the main base, except for Jimmy. Once more, being a jerk. There's the good storm. But does he have the numbers? Oh, no. Oh, this has the potential to be a proper tilter, too, for Hero. This is grasping defeat from the jaws of victory. And now ByuN is taking a little tour around the bases. Going from the main base to the natural, back up to the main base, to the 4th base that doesn't even exist. We may go back up towards the 3rd base, kills even more probes over here. Yeah. I mean, obviously Hero is a professional. He's been in this situation before, because believe it or not, pro gamers are humans. Most of them anyways. And most of them, therefore, make mistakes. Now, not so much MaxPax. Not so much Cyril. The jury is not yet out on whether or not they are humans, but most people seem to believe that they are. Did he just really try to... Oh, no, he gets the Templar? Not quite. Not quite getting the Templar. Oh, Jimmy! Oh, Jimmy was tasked with killing that one Templar. Okay, now Hero is actually... He's set for his final engagement, and ByuN is getting a little bit too cheeky. He does have, however, a couple ghosts. First EMP, missed. He's waiting. He wants to get the Stormy Boys, and he does get one of the Stormy Boys there. Another EMP just for good measure. This is still a scary attack, though. Oh, no. Hero's going to have nightmares over those 4 zealots that did not finish. Oh. Prism goes down. I think that's it. I think that's it. What a game. GG. Next up, we find ourselves on Whispers of Gold. ByuN's decided to do, this. It's something Terran players like to do every once in a while. Joke's on him, though, because Hero is skipping the Probe Scout this time around. Maka. Does anybody remember Maka? It's a Terran player named Maka who started doing this in like 2010 or so, where he just started building barracks all over the map. And it turns out Protoss players don't really know how to handle this if they see it coming in. Now, this is one of those weird spots where Hero is not going to see it. And because he doesn't see it, he doesn't really care. As a matter of fact, he opened up with Sentry first, which is very cute. I love Sentry first builds. Very risky. There's a million different ways in which you can use this, well, to your disadvantage, right? But the early game Phoenix Scouts are so nice. Yeah, that previous game was a frustrating one, though, for Hero. Anybody can make a mistake, but that little warp-in blunder did cost him the game. Stargate on the back of this, too. So this is Sentry into Stalker, Stalker, with a Stargate on the back of it as well. Quite like it. I quite like it. Yeah, so the plan for Hero was to let the warp-in finish, drop off the High Templar, get them to use their storms real quick, morph them into an Archon, and then pick up, for example, those Zealots or any other units that needed it. The sequence was clear. Now, though, yep, this is where that Sentry first situation can really hurt you. Losing a Stalker to a bunch of Hellions and Reapers is never great. Ooh, see ya, buddy. Ooh, Hero wanted to go Phoenixes, and he will double down on it. We don't really see Hero play Phoenixes that much. In general, he is very much so a Blink Stalker opener, but again, best of 9 series. This is a relatively big map. You can generally get away with this sort of thing, but going Sentry into Phoenix build is quite uncommon. There's a few different follow-ups to Phoenix builds. Generally, it's Phoenix into Colossus. You can also go Phoenix into Twilight. So Phoenix into Charge. Looks like it's going to be Phoenix into Colossus here. It is a build with a lot of potential. ByuN, in the meantime, by the way, following this up with Cloaked Banshees. Second barracks is now also available. First one, apparently taking the shortest little flight to build a reactor over there. We should see eventually a tech lab over there too for the Stimpeg research. But this is one of those weird spots, though, for ByuN. He doesn't really know exactly what the opponent is going for. So he hasn't seen the Stargate. He doesn't know that this is indeed that Phoenix mating dance going on right now in the main base. Then again, even when you technically are hard countered for your Cloaked Banshee, it's one of those really weird spots where sometimes because Cloaked Banshee is such a terrible choice against this, it can actually work out perfectly for you. Because the opponent doesn't ever assume for you to go for a unit that can't shoot up. Okay, well, he's seen it now. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to go for a unit that can't shoot up. Now, though, ByuN definitely, is seen here. Observer, available. And this Banshee is dead. All she did was buy a little bit of mining time. Hellions, though, opened up. Nah, it's not going to happen. Nope. Good defense here by Hero. Not the perfect one, but good enough. But this is what I'm talking about there. Here's that second Banshee now showing up. Why would you not cancel this second Banshee when you know that the opponent has the 100% hard counter? Well, Hero's going across the map with everything that he's got right now. And this is one of those weird timings where maybe the Banshee can actually put in some work. Problem is, there's already shield batteries set up, so I don't think it really will. Gonna keep my eye out on the Phoenixes instead as they lift up whatever they can on the other side of the map. Phoenix actually stays alive. Banshee is looking for whatever target it can hit. Observer, though, unsieged, and a new Phoenix that just spawned is likely going to be able to take care of this. Only about 10 seconds of energy remaining on that one. Oh! Jukin! Problem is, yep, you don't have anywhere to go. Okay. So, This is ByuN mostly just styling a little bit. These are very ByuN-esque moves, much like the Medivac situation in the previous game, where he just kind of sent the Medivacs in regardless of being spotted, because he knew he was spotted, but he still didn't care, right? Going Cloak Banshees when you know your opponent is going into a Mass Phoenix opener is also very ByuN-like. It's one of those scenarios where, like, every fourth game you play in that scenario, you deal a lot of damage with your Cloak Banshees anyways, and you feel brilliant. So you just kind of, I don't know, you tell yourself that it's actually a good play. StarCraft is all about gaslighting yourself that you're actually good at the game. That's how it goes. You have to gaslight yourself into to be a strategic genius. That's how these sort of things tend to go. Anyway. Robo facility coming up right now. Robo Bay coming up here as well. Got ourselves the charts upgrade finishing up. Yeah, life is all about gaslighting yourself. For example, I recently bought a new tub of protein powder. And I'm currently in the process of gaslighting myself that I really don't hate the flavor. But I do. I normally get like the double chocolate one, and I accidentally brought like I bought like the wrong chocolate one, and now I'm gaslighting myself into, you know, eating like 2 kilograms of protein powder that I'm really not liking. Anyways, here we go. Zealots have the charge upgrade done right now. Colossus, yeah, they're available, but that's way too many siege tanks. This is one of the weird things when you open up Phoenixes, you kind of need to have them lifting things too in the engagement, right? You can't really just have them looking off to the side and, yeah, acting to be pretty. You have to be using them well. And those siege tanks can still hit really hard. I love the addition here of a couple of SCVs just to build missile turrets. It's an extremely slow push, but it can be incredibly useful. Here we go, though. Is there enough for Terran to actually push through? That one hallucinated Colossus is extremely nice. Ultimately, though, the real one does fall. So does that, well, fake one. New one just popped out. That one is also real. And ByuN is losing just a few too many of his troops. He doesn't have easy economy on the back of this. He's lost a lot of stuff throughout this game already. And that means he has to tap out. Welcome to Ultra Love. We once more have ourselves a good old Sentry First build. I like the Sentry First. I feel like we're really close to the Sentry First build being like the very best build to go for. It's just barely not, but it's extremely good. This is actually one of like the big advantages of that new energy boost on the Nexus. So the reason why this is suddenly played is that the Sentry can now get that nice little energy burst right when it spawns, and you can use it to get a hallucination very quickly. Now, generally, though, we don't send it across the map. This is actually kind of nutty. Hero has apparently seen something that prompts him to go for a push using the Sentry itself. Now, Sentries don't actually deal damage, okay? They deal more damage than High Templar, but, I mean, not by much. A little bit of tickling. Oh, you don't want to lose it, though. Oh, God. Oh, God. Just keep it at home, buddy. Well, that's awkward. All right. Let's pretend that didn't happen. Jeez. ByuN's like, wait, what? I think you were supposed to force mute me and, like, keep me up on the high ground to make it difficult for me to, like, just walk down there, but... He just walked down there with a bunch of Marines and killed it all. That was not the most complex multitasking either. Obviously, Hellions in your mineral line are scary. Hero probably did not expect ByuN to even try to walk down, because technically that shouldn't have happened. But using the Sentry offensively, generally not the goal. So usually you go for the hallucinated Phoenix, really nice and early, and that's it. We do have a recall right now towards the main base with one Stalker. Medevac drop has already arrived nice and quickly. Medevac is going to be in a world of trouble, but probes are going to pay the price. In the meantime, Hellion swoop into the natural expansion too. When ByuN is given the green light to be aggressive, he will not hesitate. It's messy. It's by no means the perfect engagement, but 10 workers by 4.5 minutes is really strong. Yeah. Obviously, keep in mind that the units lost right here for ByuN. I mean, the Marines are something you don't really want to lose, I guess, but they're very easy to replace. The Hellions, you don't really want to keep them for too long anyway. The Medevac is the really only painful thing. Unless Hero can capitalize on it, but it's not going to happen. Hero, as a matter of fact, has decided that he wants to go into a pretty quick third now, too. Raven, first one in the series. Very nice in these type of scenarios. Again, Sentry not great at countering it. Stalker's now in the back of the main base, though. And they're going to be a nuisance. Auto turret has been dropped down. Another Sentry falls. Another one bites the dust. And another one falls. Okay. Supply depot. Do we get out? He can't recall. No, he wants to go to... Oh, jeez. Oh, he already recalled just now. So he's not going to have it available again. The Hero has decided that he just wants to be hyper-aggressive now. We are just trying to squeeze as much Stalker juice as we can. This is a Stalker smoothie right now. It's just the type of smoothie where, like, your mom tried to hide broccoli in it and pretended that it wasn't. And, you know, I don't like it. Not a fan. Okay. We're now getting to the point where this best of 9 has been going on for, like, what, an hour or so? And both players are starting to, they're starting to show, like, that their stamina is starting to slip a little bit, right? Like, we're getting to the point where I feel like the series it's already spiraling a little bit. I've got a vibe that we are gonna be spiraling out of control real soon. Because this is already both players acting pretty stupid, right? Like, there's already some stupidity going on right now. More so on Hero's side, but that's maybe just Hero being Hero. But this is also, like, what's going on over here, man? There's a lot of weird stuff happening already. I'm excited for the remainder of these games. Because I've got a feeling this is about to get even dumber. I love how these two, though, like, it's really funny because if you look at the average Terran versus Protoss, it's generally quite laid back. Like, generally quite passive. Usually, Terrans don't really do much until their Stimpak and their combat shields and their +1 are done. Obviously, there's bits of harassment and stuff, but it's usually quite passive. These two, it's kind of like MaxPax going up against Clem. These two are just in each other's face the entire time. Trying to get as much value as they can. But once more, the siege tank numbers are here. Ooh, combat shields is the one that he's targeting right now, and it is going to get denied. Sadly here for Hero, because he would have loved to have the Stimpak instead. Combat shields is still a good one, though. One Colossus up in the air. Ooh. Okay. Is there enough for Protoss to clean this up? The siege tanks hit so hard, but this is a good spready by the Protoss. It's just not enough units. Nah. Don't know if you can really continue harassing, though. Yeah, just lift up and get on out of there. This is now spotted as well by that little observer. We've seen a lot of supply depots with the little supply depot hats on top of themselves already throughout this series. Okay. Hero thinking about building up a 4th Nexus. He doesn't even have a full saturation yet on his new base, but needs to be careful that he doesn't overextend. ByuN now has the 3rd command center done. Prism is going around the back. Really? Like that move over there? Ah. Ooh. Poor Marauder, man. Good body blocked by his own friends. Maybe Hero can deny this, but he's just lost 4 Zealots, which means that this attack over here is going to be far less powerful. Maybe he should have sent this in as soon as, you know, the Prism was distracting at the same time, or maybe sent the Prism in while you're distracting over here at the front when Terran's trying to take the 3rd. Now, ultimately, though, ByuN should be able to secure that low ground. Hero already about a third of the way done with his 4th Nexus. Disruptors are coming up. Okay. We're going bowling. We haven't done a lot of bowling yet. Don't know if you like bowling that much. How do we feel about bowling? Is bowling cool? What if we had a Protoss units that was more like mini golf instead? Like laser gaming. Like laser tag. Can we... Maybe something like that would be nice. I'm not so sure how I feel about bowling. When I was young, actually, we used to go bowling quite a bit. I lived relatively close to a bowling alley. I'm not good at bowling at all. I remember one day, my mom decided it was fun if we all would go bowling together. And it turns out my mom was really good at bowling. Not for the life of me would I have ever expected my mom to be good at bowling. But she was just rolling strike after strike after strike. That's like 20 years ago. I'm pretty sure it's the last time she's done any sort of bowling too. We should go bowling again soon. My favorite part of the bowling is definitely the sweaty rental shoes. Remember when you arrive and then you got to like switch out your... love that part. You have to spray bottle and stuff, but it's never used. My mom would probably still beat me at bowling. Anyway, let's see if Hero can beat ByuN at bowling. Oh, well, I mean, we do have to bowl. Oh, he's throwing all the balls at the same time. That's not how bowling works. You gotta wait until the ball arrives, man. Maybe it's like, you know, maybe it's bowling with the little sight thingies up. ByuN is gonna help out Hero here for a second. Knock down the cooling tower just to keep him nice and safe. I haven't done any bowling in a very long time. It's kind of fun, though. +2/+2. Coming up for ByuN. Usually that's the big indicator that Terran wants to go for an attack in this matchup. Usually when 2-2 finishes, that's when the real fighting begins. These two, though, have been fighting the entire time already. ByuN just gifts his opponent a bunch of Marines, a medevac. He wasn't gonna move his screen that way. That's a lot of effort, dude. Okay, units over here taking a bunch of damage. In the meantime, medevac drop, of course. Medevac drop goes into the main base. We do have a recall over here, too. Recalling into a Terran bio army is very risky like that, and the Colossus indeed spawns on the wrong side. Stalker over here, body blocking the Zealots. Oh, super clumsy. In the meantime, those Stalkers are also destroying the Terran's economy on the other side of the map. Leftover units that did not boost into the main base are now trying to see if they can maybe go after the fourth. Colossus steps up towards the high ground. We have another Disruptor over here in the mix too. Wouldn't mind seeing it roll its bowling ball once more, but the Stalkers instead decide to pick off whatever they can. This over here gets... this over here indeed does get shut down, and ultimately both players just lose a tremendous amount of economy. Hero's certainly coming out ahead of that though, but he needs to be careful. This is becoming an exceptionally messy set of games. Super difficult one to read, right? Like, we have perfect vision. We know how much supply there is and how big the economy is, but these guys have to basically make these calls on just a hunch. They have to just think, okay, I've lost roughly this much. I've killed roughly that much. You obviously can't look at everything. You can't possibly be counting it. So you just have to be playing on feels alone, and, well, apparently it is making ByuN make this move, and it may just be the right one. Kills another 5 probes. Maybe he's going to be able to get the Nexus itself. No, he decides to leave a few units behind. Sorry. The gate was closed. That usually doesn't happen when the gate closes, but apparently there's a man with swords for arms. In the meantime, we have that other Nexus, though, that Hero is trying to acquire. Also in a world of trouble. So despite ByuN being in a very tricky spot, gets a few Zealots for free as well. This is starting to look much better once again for the South Korean Terran. Oh. Dude, so many units do not make it before the gate closes. I never understand how you can miss a flight, dude. Do you not know the flight is going? Like, how do you miss a flight? It always happens. People miss flights all the time. Maybe if you can't make the layover or something, but... You know that moment when they have to offload somebody's baggage because they didn't show? It's like, how did that happen? How did we get... What are you doing? You're at the airport? Did you fall asleep? Like, how did you... I wouldn't say I'm an anxious flyer, but... Seems funny to me. Anyways, Disruptor coming in once more. Marauders obviously no longer one-shot by it, but when they've already taken a bit of damage, they can still die. Fight over here too, and ByuN, you know, when he fell behind in this game, he said, well, this is it. And he has just started just throwing whatever he can at his opponent's base. He's throwing the Marines, the Medevacs, the Widow Mines, the kitchen sink. Oh, a mug that was standing on his... He was just throwing anything that he could ever get his hands on, and it sort of worked out. A tremendous amount of losses, but very good control here by ByuN. Look at the resources lost. Way less money lost here by ByuN. So despite being behind economically for some time, yeah, he's found himself in a pretty good spot again. It's been an absolute roller coaster here. Matter of fact, drop goes back into the main base. 3-3, by the way. Also, finishing up pretty soon. Hero has not been able to start those upgrades of his own at all. Sick game. GG. ByuN? What are we doing? There was a little bit of a probe being a jerk to you and all that, but why did we... You don't really have to start your command center over there. You can build it over here generally, or make it in the main base and then fly it down to the low ground. This is a very curious way to hide an expansion. Problem with the pocket base on this map is that there's only 4 mineral fields. So 4 mineral fields compared to the regular 8. Just not a whole lot of money. Although this becomes very difficult right now for Hero to read. Hero's not gonna expect the command center here to be this late, right? He's likely gonna sit around here for a little while. He knows the timing at which a CC is supposed to fly to the low ground. He doesn't see anything here. He hasn't seen it over on the low ground. He hasn't seen it on the high ground. He hasn't seen it anywhere. So does this mean it's a quick 1-1-1? Like, is this going to be some sort of proxy? Do you have to start checking whether or not there are structures building on your side of the map? Well, Hero is going to try and see if he can just skill check his opponent with some adepts. There should be enough Marines, though, especially with 5, to really start pushing this away. And the Widow Mine obviously will also make this all easier. But this is now a tricky game here for Hero to read. It's just a command center. A couple of steps north of here. But we never see that taken as the very first base. Okay. A robo facility coming up. It is indeed going to be a quick prism. So Hero not opting to go for the Twilight Council. No Stargate shenanigans. Instead, we're just going to go straight into the good old Warp Prism. This is giving every unit blink. Although it's important to keep every single unit here alive as well. Though, well, when you get an opportunity like that, do you commit to it? He decided to not take the bait. Oh, he sees the SCV transfer. Yeah, okay. So that should tell Hero exactly what he needs to know. ByuN was hoping that was not going to be common knowledge here. But he will go into a nice and quick third command center as well, long before Hero is a third Nexus. And generally in this matchup, Protoss is the one out-expending Terran. So let's find out. Matter of fact, drop. A couple of Widow Mines inside of it. Okay. Do we have enough? 4 probes, not bad. First Widow Mine drop, by the way, of the entire series. Isn't that wild? Nice little adept harassment here too, though, using that prism that he's now been building. Viking is out, so these units are in a bit of trouble. Hero has seen it, decides to recall. Bring it back home. Gotta bring it to safety, it's important. ByuN, by the way, never playing with his own decal on the command center. He's got a portrait in the game, doesn't he? Oh, ByuN definitely has a portrait in the game. He won the World Championships back in, like, what? 2018? 2016, maybe. It's been a little while. Yeah, Terran vs. Protoss at a high level is phenomenal. I really like it. The only downside of Terran vs. Protoss at a high level is that it's difficult to make a good title and thumbnail. As a YouTuber, this is a problem you run into, man. Like, this has been expert gaming, but it's difficult to go for, oh god, let's see, is there enough? There's a lot of SCVs here in the middle of the map. Guardian Shield is obviously phenomenal. This is not an easy fight for ByuN whatsoever, but it's because he's got once more. Ooh, a drop inside of the main base, but with him losing a lot of those units and then also the aggression. Back in, over here too. Where are they? Yeah, back in over here too with those SCVs going down. He was planning on going for a very committed attack. Did not quite happen. GG. Next up, we find ourselves on ley lines. The score has been evened up. Both players are starting to play more and more like I do when I play StarCraft 2. I was gonna insult their gaming, but I instead decided to insult myself. And then indirectly insult them as well. Yeah. This is starting to look like my games now. Messy. Obvious room for improvement. But still very fun for us to have a look at here. Because, oh. Really? This is when we're gonna start having our little conversations? ByuN always loves doing this sort of thing. Yeah, ByuN will always respond. We have a cheeky little engineering bay block. 94 minerals. That's what you get back. It's a bit of a cursed number, but I guess we'll allow it. Nexus eventually will go up. Command center also building on the other side of the map. Maybe we can have a little bit of like a mental reset at this point in time, you know? Or not. Maybe we can just double down. This is a pretty large map. Generally, quite possible to play macro on. We'll have to see. Just a good old straight blink upgrade, I wouldn't mind. Just a good old, I don't know, like any sort of opener here from ByuN, really. Like, there's a lot of varieties in the early game. For Terran, now, Hero did already build that single Zealot, which is always annoying. It's gonna force that Zealot to come back home. Or the Reaper, rather, to come back home. Adept now also joining in. Stargate build. Okay. I love Stargate builds. Oh, bring him in. Ooh. I love it when they do that little animation where they pretend like they're falling. Zealot first is something we don't generally see. It's just here to be annoying. Sorry, buddy. I don't know if anybody told you. I know you probably think yourself as the mightiest warrior of Ire, but you're really just here to be a nuisance. We know you're never going to kill a supply depot. You really should not ever be able to deal any damage. But you're still shaking up the early game a bit, and maybe it's going to be easier now to go into Phoenixes again. Eventually, the Reaper does go across. ByuN wants to know, is this going to be Blink? Is this going to be Stargate? Is this going to be Oracles? Will it be Phoenixes? He will not know. Instead, he will know death. Although you've seen the timing right there of the gateway, doesn't really give him that much intel. He knows that there's a bunch of Adepts at home too. It's a bit weird to have 4 Adepts at this point in time, but then again, this is Hero. Trying to make sense of Hero's build order is like trying to make sense of Dark's early game. It's like, yeah, maybe, but also probably not. Or ByuN's early game, I guess, if we need a Terran example there too. ByuN's early games also tend to look like whatever you can make. Really, any combination of units is what ByuN can work with. That's the skill as well. Well, now he will know exactly what he's playing against. This cheeky little Widowmine drop, though, is going to do nothing. They're getting killed by the very things they swore to destroy. And now the Medivacs, yeah, or the Medivac, rather, it is also not going to be able to achieve much. Adepts are going to hunt down the final Marines. Terrible time to be a Marine. No. Sorry, guys. Goodbye. And in the night they go. All right. Ooh, we're going 4 Phoenixes and then into an Oracle. Weird. Not usually what we do. ByuN. This is not the time to be sending a Banshee or a Liberator or another Medivac drop in, man. It's like, what do you mean, dude? The best offense is the defense, right? Wait, no. The best defense is the offense, right? Well, maybe the other is true as well if you're ByuN. So silly. This should never be us. Like, this shouldn't work. This Liberator knows it's gonna die. But you know what? Getting 4 probes, scouting the Oracle, denying a bunch of mining time, it's actually totally fine for ByuN. It's also obviously put a lot of, well, the pressure off the other side of the map. Stasis Ward is going to be used here. Ooh, he sees it. He knows it. Good scanny. Yep. Scanny or scanty? That's the question we will have to answer. ByuN, though, losing a bunch of troops earlier on, I don't disagree. I think going back home here is the right call. If maybe you wouldn't have lost any of that Medivac harassment, right, and the Liberator was still around, then you can double down on the aggression here. right across the map. See if you can deal critical damage potentially on the third Nexus, but yeah, committing to that fight there after losing a bunch of units, not quite optimal. NGB coming up. Got ourselves a Stimpek. Really, we went for the combat shields first? This is the Phoenix mating dance again. It's some sort of occult Protoss ritual. I'm not exactly sure what this is. Don't ask them. Don't ask. They're gonna give you some weird answer. Maybe it's what they do to appease the Chaos Gods. There's no way to know. Well, here we go again. ByuN's bringing the boys out. It's Marines and Siege Tanks. And a bunch of SCVs. It's going to be a very slow attack again. Hero wants to go and transition towards Psystorm. Problem is, Psystorm is still a long ways off. Double Templar Archives. Fun fact, when you have 2 Templar Archives, the research is twice as quick. No, that's a lie. That's not true. This is a mistake. Big mistake, actually. Should definitely cancel that. Oh no, this is gonna be real awkward when he realizes that he's made 2 Templar Archives. Oh no. This is not a cheap structure either, man. ByuN going for the slowest of slow pushes. I love this. Siege tanks dealing damage in the back. Bunkers in the front. Missile turrets making it difficult for any of these Protoss units to really swoop in. Zealots awkwardly try to make their way in between those structures, but ultimately they just funnel themselves for those siege tanks to deal maximum damage. Banger of an attack here by ByuN. Well, at least we've got ourselves... we've got ourselves 2 Templar Archives, but no storms. Yeah, we can make 2 Archons. Sure. This is, by the way, when Stimpek finishes up in the middle of this fight. Nope, nope, nope. Hero is starting to lose the plot a little bit. I mean, that is a theme we've seen throughout these games, but it's getting worse now. This is the thing, though. When you're playing a best of 9, StarCraft kind of turns from a sprint to a marathon, right? Like, you actually have to be... This is not something pro gamers generally practice. Keeping up your mental stamina for this long is really hard. Amy Gadala is going to be the 8th map in this best of 9 series. Says Hero was the one playing like a bit of a donkey in the previous game. Now it's ByuN's turn to do something stupid instead. That seems to be how these sort of things go. If we have to, like, plot the attention span here, it seems like they're taking turns. Now it's Hero once more, who is gonna have to be on the ball. This is the problem, man. StarCraft pro gamers. Maybe we need to get, like, a Subway servers on the side or something to keep everybody engaged. Play some extra games at the same time. Okay, so Twilight Council opener. Hallucination, of course, here from that very first century. 1/1/1 here for ByuN. And what do we make? It's going to be Marines, it's going to be Widow Mines, and it's going to be a medevac. I can already smell the medevac. It's coming in. Hey, there it is. Yeah, it smells like cheese. It's very cheesy, like moldy. It's not pleasant. Tech Lab coming up here as well for ByuN. And the good old Blink upgrade will once more begin for Hero. In before Hero wins this game, and we get like a 45-minute long macro game for a game number 9, where both players play questionable strategies. I'm here for it, man. It'd be fun. I may have to get myself another cup of coffee. But it would be interesting to see. Little Reaper man waiting for the third Nexus now realizes that it does not exist. Blink is only about halfway done, so the medevac goes in. The pathing here of this medevac is very interesting. He wanted to hit as many Protoss units and as much Protoss vision as possible. He just sent it, boom, straight through the middle. Hope he can hit, like, I guess it was the shortest path towards the other side of the map, but it also gave Hero all the time in the world. Okay, so the strategy that ByuN is going for is the I hope my opponent isn't paying attention to this Widow Mine drop strat. Oh god. Well, that is... yeah. They really are taking turns. This is a horrible start for Terran. Liberator coming in. Okay, we're gonna settle for one... Haha! Probius is too quick, too nimble. Goes back onto the watchtower once more. He hoped that Probius was taking a little nap, but not the case. This guy is a hero of the storm, okay? He does not mess around. Stimpak coming up for ByuN. But he's going to have to defend against Blinky Boys first. And these Blinky Boys are going to be quite dangerous. Now, there are 2 siege tanks. One in the natural, one inside of the main base. And we've got a little concave of structures. Not the type of concave we generally see, but I guess it works. Stimpak, though, is also part of the concave and now is dead. Oh, careful. You might want to blink away. Yeah. A little costly there. 4 stalkers. Yeah, I don't love that. Round 2. Ooga Booga Stimpak coming right up. Come on. ByuN, we have the money. Oh no, ByuN. Okay, thought for a second he forgot about it. That would be a problem. Liberator in the meantime still going to town. Very ambitious. And it died. Round 2 for Stimpak, combat shields +1. We've got everything coming up. Obviously, Hero did lose a little bit more there than he needed to, but sniping Stimpak is big. Getting the Stimpak denied, it basically means that ByuN has to go back to researching Stimpak. It's one of the weird things about how Terran progresses. Basically, everything just leverages on that upgrade finishing up. When you don't have the upgrade done, like, you can't pivot, so you need to do something. Maybe ByuN can figure something out, but on a map like Amygdala, or Amy Gadala, rather, you only really have like 2 attack lanes, right? So if you go with your very slow Marines, you take the wrong lane, it's not really something you can easily do. So ByuN should just wait until the upgrades are done, wait until the 3rd CC is done, fly it to the low ground, and try to secure the expansion. This is giving Hero, though, all the time in the world to be taking up a 4th Nexus, and that's exactly what he does. He's building up a bunch of pylons here as well for vision. Okay. Combat shields. By the way, if we do get a map 9, what is the one map that we haven't seen yet? King's Cove? I think King's Cove. That could be a really dumb thing of me to say, because maybe I did just cast a game on King's Cove. And I've already forgotten about it, but... No. We haven't seen King's Cove. I think it's King's Cove. It should be King's Cove. I hope so. Anyway, this Nexus is gonna allow Hero to get a very, very nice economy going. Oh, we had double... we had double Templar Archives in the previous game. Now we have double Ghost Academy in the next one. Now, maybe ByuN wants to go for Mass Nuke. Doubt it. Absolutely doubt it, but I'd be here for it. Do you think he recognizes it? No, he's gonna let this one finish too. Yeah, the players are getting tired. The players are getting a little bit tired here, and it's starting to show. Pro gamers that are now in their like late 20s, dude. I think ByuN is actually like 30, maybe 31. Practically ancient as far as pro gamer age goes. May need a little pick-me-up. Let's see. Can Hero actually use this economical advantage, though, for himself? That's the problem, right? Like, yeah, you may have a better army and economy and all that for a while now, but also, how do you exactly take advantage of it? ByuN definitely uses XD and carrot. Yes. ByuN. Actually, no, in Korea they don't. In Korea they just do this. They just repeat literally any character on the keyboard to indicate laughter. I don't think I've ever seen a Korean type XD, actually. Whoa. I love this little... this little landing strip light or whatever it is. I like it a lot. Anyways, Hero has decided to test the waters here regardless. And you know what? He may indeed have enough. This is a dangerous play by Hero, but he knows that the Terran is reasonably split up. Gets all of the siege tanks. That's a big one. Okay. Barracks 6, 7, and 8 coming up. Commence at our number 4. Just about to finish up as well. Oh. Hero has decided that he wants to continue fighting over here. Doesn't really have much say in the matter anymore, but I don't believe ByuN has enough stuff. SCVs pulled away from their mineral lines to just try and keep the damage going. But I don't think he has it. Nope. Just not enough units here available for ByuN. I believe that means we are actually going to see a game number 9 in a best of 9 series. GG. So, it is King's Cove. Question is, how many minutes do we skip? Because this is an extremely passive map. We actually left the biggest macro map for last in a best of 9 series. I can't believe that it's actually this passive. That's so funny. I don't think either of them actually wanted to play it, right? So when you get to play a best of 9 like this, you just choose the map order. So they just take turns. ByuN said we pick this one first, then Hero said we're going to play this one next, and then ultimately they just pick King's Cove as the very last one because that one happened to be left over. Neither of them wanted to play this map. Now, when I fast forward, I'm always paying attention to the minimap to make sure that there's nothing weird going on there. We did have ByuN checking his third base for proxies, but neither player actually committed to anything hyper-aggressive. Meaning that, yeah, we're just going to play a nice little macro game. Honestly, at this point, it very much so becomes who derps more. We've seen a fair share of derping for both players throughout these games. If we're going to continue taking turns, it should be Hero's turn right now to play like a bit of a derp. Probably should not do it, though. He did have a Stargate build again, so we're going to go into the Oracle first. Oracle's going to be really nice. Lasers. Bzz, 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 bzz. I mean, I say that. This can still deal damage. None of these Terran units are going home. Gets a probe on his way out there. 3 in the total, but not the craziest start there for ByuN. Second Oracle also out very soon. And in the meantime, a Cyclone has been produced on the other side of the map. Cyclones are an almost, yeah, I would call it a necessity when it comes to dealing with the Oracle. There is obviously a lot of other anti-air. Now we're going to go into Phoenixes. Okay. Let's see. Ooh, Stasis Ward over here to shield that Cyclone away. I kind of love it. It's now opening the door as well. And apparently, yeah, the Adept decides to slip in. Cute play right there by Hero. Sadly for him, he doesn't have enough energy to activate the Pulsar Beam and keep that Oracle around for much longer. Actually, he did have the energy. He just didn't have the HP for it. He would have probably liked to zap some of those Marines and then go into the SCVs instead. Stasis Ward, though, now is already run out. And, yep, that means that the Medevac is going to go across the map with 2 Cyclones in its belly. Now, do you think it expects, though? Do you think ByuN here expects that this is going to be a Phoenix follow-up? I don't know. It's a little weird. Yeah, he's playing this cautiously. Decides to actually turn back around. Because if you boost into a bunch of, well, Phoenixes there, that's effectively the end of the game. Twilight Council on the back of it, together with a 3rd Nexus. Revelation has been used. Terran, though, does not really have much to show for just yet. Then we're going to go into the NG Bay, and we'll probably see some tech labs here to start up the Stimpak and the combat shields very, very soon. Now, Hero is missing a Medevac. This is effectively a hero unit right now that's supposed to be in the bottom lane, or the top lane, or the mid lane. It doesn't really matter, but it's missing. And when it's missing, you know that something is weird. Lucky for hero, though. Oh, wow, that was actually just barely outside of vision range. Huh. I thought he had a pylon there within vision that would have seen all of this coming in. There's the stim pack and the combat shields, +1 infantry weapons on the back of this. Okay. Yep, we're gonna go into the good old holy trinity of Terran upgrades. For the stim pack, for the combat shields, for the +1 infantry weapons, amen. And we are indeed gonna go for the most foolproof follow-up here for hero. None of that, like, Colossus juggling. I don't mind the Colossus play at all. I think it's very strong. Oracle into Colossus is great, but when you've already opened up with Phoenixes, it just slows everything down so much, and there's very little room for micro mistakes. Zealots and +1, you get to be a little bit more ooga booga. You get to be a little bit more ooga booga and just send your units around the map. You just get a whole lot of stuff. Is this medevac going to survive this? I mean, there's an entire Protoss fleet looking for you. I'm afraid that the medevac, on the longest journey ever, oh, it's going to force a little bit more energy out of this, but it is going to get picked off. Okay, so Phoenixes into charge slots. Charge slots are good, but are they as good as Marines, Marauders, and medevacs? That's the question. Stasis Ward here is slowing down the push for quite a while too. ByuN doesn't yet have a third command center, meaning that he is needing to deal damage here real soon. Hero should not be out here. Hero, you should go home. He's like, home is my entire map! I will decide what part home is. Well, I feel like this is never going to be that efficient of a trade, although he's actually getting quite a good bit of value. He's probably hoping he can somehow get Storm done or something along those lines, but that is a long whiles away in my mind. There's no third command center, man. Without a third CC, like, it's only a third of the way done right now. Hero should be able to out-macro his opponent quite nicely. I love the Stasis Ward here, and it seems to me that Hero has picked himself back up, right? Like, we had a couple of derpy moments. This is all looking quite strong. Oh, well, this is a bit derpy. This little sequence over here was not the cleanest. Didn't lose that much, though. Ultimately, just one Phoenix. ByuN getting a little overzealous, but he still has a good army. And obviously, it also helps that this is generally a bit of a more straightforward unit composition to control. Or at the very least, one that is, you know, complete muscle memory. Marine Marauder Medevac Mine. It is something that ByuN will play every day of every week. And he has been playing that every day of every week for the last 15 years. Here's the fourth Nexus, though. And I'm liking this spot here for Hero. The next incoming attack is a big one. Stasis Ward, just barely not triggered here, but Hero's once more on the hunt. And this is that gateway man style. Right? It's a little bit more ooga booga because you don't really have to micro this much. You just kind of decide when to attack. Kind of like how Zerg generally micros, you know? You just kind of send the units in and hope for the best. Just when the Terran army grows, it does get progressively worse. You need some sort of follow-up. So we've got an Archon. We've got ourselves more Phoenixes coming up too, and then also a Robo Bay. ByuN has decided that he just wants to sit on the third base for a while. Late on the armory. That's unfortunate, meaning that he's not going to be able to go into the +2. But he has been pumping out the Ghost now, 3 at a time. Getting some good hits as well with the mines. ByuN just sort of fishing them around the map. Or, well, burrowing them. Fishing for some good hits. The Stasis Ward, man. He's trying to get the Terran to walk into that Stasis Ward. Jimmy! Okay, Jimmy ultimately gets it. Oracle also goes down to that Widow Mine up on the high ground. Take that, Rocks. 31 damage. That's all you're gonna get. Yeah, it's pure Zealot. It's now basically pure Zealot. Keep in mind that EMP also works against Phoenixes. They are still spellcasters. Hero wanted to look for a good fight, instead decides to go home. Did he block his own expansion? It looked... It's very close. Oh my god, he did. Oh no. Hero just built a pylon where its Nexus should go. So he's decided to skip that base and go for the one next to do it, but that works as long as Terran is held back. ByuN is gonna be out on the map. I mean, ByuN has been hit in the face one too many times already. I think ByuN is just about, he's just about ready to start roaming. ByuN's armory is late. His micro has been a little bit messy. His decision-making is not as crisp as we would like it to see. Hero is making some sloppy errors as well. Walking way too many of his units into Widow Mines. Accidentally blocking his own expansion. Not having any sort of splash damage yet at this point in the game is also quite risky. Okay, Colossus is available, actually. Ranged upgrade only about a third of the way done. Medivacs in a bit of trouble as the Phoenix is trying to hunt it down. Viking, though, pays the price, and Lefto Marauder is not going to be doing much either. Fourth Command Center, just about to finish up. Hero could have been sitting at even more workers, man. He's got so many zealots. 42 zealots. I feel like it's like one bad EMP away from an absolute disaster, though. Ooh. EMP just deals with clumped up units so beautifully. One EMP on these units. Okay, now it's 2 EMPs, now that they're split up, but you can really clear out those zealots fast. Hero has decided, though, that this Ooga Booga Protoss threat requires more gateways, and we're going to add 8 more. 18 gates? We'll allow it. Zealots coming in from the back? No, they're going to go and walk up towards the third base instead. Really? This is where we want to go? I'm not so sure about that. Hero... Oh god, Hero might just accidentally find himself in a weird spot. He decides to just commit with the units rather than be in a weird engagement. Big EMPs go down though, and ByuN just walks up the ramp and takes the perfect fight. That could not have gone much better there for the Terran. Yeah, and suddenly he's finding himself in a pretty clean position. 39 zealots have gone down. Jeez. Only 24 Marines, for contrast. Nexus in the middle going down too. Maybe we should just kill the pylon, man. I think it's the best way to do it. Colossus count is reasonably high. We don't have any Vikings up in the air yet. Well, there's 2 of them, but not enough to really deal with those Colossi. +3/+3 coming up as well for Protoss. ByuN needs to start up his very soon. There it is. He starts up +3 armor because it's ByuN. Also goes into the +3 infantry attacks now. And now both players are maxed out. Have we had both players maxed out in any of these 9 games? Oh. Bullseye. It's a new sport. We have a bowling ball with bullseye now. It's weird. Don't ask. If only there was a, a bowling-related term that would be appropriate for hitting all of the things at the same time. Anyway, Zealots try to walk into the main base. Bit ambitious. Bunch of them go towards the right. Marines and Marauders just chasing all of this down, and ultimately that's more free Zealots. We've had a lot of free Zealots, actually. You never look a gift Zealot in the mouth. Even though they don't have any orifices. You still don't look at it, there's nothing you really need to learn from that. Okay? When life gives you 69 Zealots, all you do is say nice. And maybe take a couple more. ByuN is actually just chilling. I'm actually quite surprised with the passive play here from ByuN. I think ByuN has probably decided that Hero is not in his crispest anymore. So he's saying, yo, I can just chill and like macro up slowly, see how the game goes. It's a dangerous play though, because these Protoss late game armies are very difficult to play against. Other than the Liberator, there's really not like an easy one-size-fits-all type of approach for Terran. But you can't really just go into Liberators, obviously. Big EMP again. Removes the energy out of the majority of the Phoenixes. More EMPs. Boom, 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 boom. EMPs left, right, and center. Rest of the Terran army coming in clutch as well. We have a couple Disruptors in the middle of nowhere. Maybe try and bowl one back. Try and see if you can land a strike. A 3-pointer? Oh god, what a weird fight. Both units, both players, coming in from every side. Somehow the Colossus of all targets still stays alive. ByuN apparently, though, wants to have the cake and eat it too. He will kill that Colossus on his way back. Yep, gets it eventually. More zealots are being warped in as well. Phoenix is flying over whatever they can hit, hoping that maybe there's going to be some Widow Mines to deal friendly fire as well to these units, because that's probably their biggest use case right now. ByuN tries to back up to the safety of the planetary, finds his way home, but he doesn't really have any units there. Okay. Hero is now 60 supply up. An unlosable game for him if we just keep sending in the zealots. Although I say that, splash damage is dangerous. And, well, the planetary does deal it. These are fully upgraded zealots, though. But I think being the gateway man is indeed the right choice in the end. GG gets called. And in an extremely long best-of-9 back-and-forth series, it is indeed our Protoss player, Hero, who obtains the victory. But, man, he had to fight for it. Just so many zealots this final game. How many zealots did we have, do you think? Let's see. 105 zealots died. We still had 19 of them available. He just made, yeah, pretty much only zealots. Please subscribe to my only zealots. I'll try to upload new videos every day. Thank you.